car franchise. Yeah.
Welcome to Leap Sales with Ian Nethercott and Larry Feldman live.
How do you adventure? Is it fast? Is it free? Is it clear? Is it rugged? Is it remote? For your next adventure, trust MotoClose for buying, selling, trading, and protecting all of your motorized assets.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Mr. Larry, since my voice is crispy tater fried, maybe you can start the show.
Yes. Well, I believe this is our end of the year last show, and we're looking for some predictions for 2026.
Interesting. So did you watch the Simpsons episode on 2026 predictions?
You know, I missed that. Was it good?
Well, the Simpsons, if you're not familiar, are the most accurate predictions of all time, usually. So they have a bunch of predictions for 2026. But I'd highly recommend watching the episode on YouTube. You can watch a summary. But The Simpsons is famous for not only making fun of people at scale, but also predicting the future. I don't know how accurate they are, but a lot of people say they're accurate. But I know you have your crystal ball ready. Maybe you can give us some predictions for 2026.
I think I'll go out on a limb and predict that the Kansas City Chiefs will not win the Super Bowl, and that the country will be polarized with the conservatives and liberals not quite finding common ground. I know that was kind of far out there, but I figured I'd take a shot.
How you do it, Larry?
Not quite finding common ground. Are you becoming a little bit more politically correct or something? As we end the year?
My feelings are, you know, I don't know if it's my strength or my weakness, but I'm the eternal optimist. I'm hoping that 2026 is a strong year, not only for the car business, but for the economy in America. It's going to be an interesting year to watch because of some of the very strange political developments. I can't think of anybody that's conservative or understands how governments work that isn't going to keep their eye on New York, because that's very strange that the nerve center of the American economy is now being led by an socialist.
Right.
That's going to be kind of interesting. There's Mr. Larkin.
Hello, Mr. Larkin.
I think it's going to be a pretty interesting year. You know, keep in mind that about every 8 seconds, AI improves and gets quicker. And of course, as soon as I say that, Mr. Larkin and Mr. Shearer pop in because there are AI wizards on the program.
I got a question for you, Jeff, regarding AI, but take it. I mean, I'll ask it during the show.
But this is the show.
Yeah. So you can definitely ask the question, man.
I also predict in 26, Michael Larkin will continue to stay confused, but we like him.
Dazed and confused.
Dazed and confused.
The question is, did you make an ashtray for your parents for Christmas 45 years ago?
Mike's too young, yeah.
Yes, I did.
I am wrong.
Yes, I did. My father smoked a whole bunch.
And do you feel that's coming back? Is that a new trend for 2026?
I think it's going to be a trend in cars.
Oh, okay.
With the light.
Ashtrays, we're bringing back ashtrays in cars?
Well, wait a minute. I'm not kidding now. I did read an article, I believe it was in the Wall Street Journal, where they were bemoaning the fact that more and more Hollywood stars are featuring smoking in their movies. And not just biopics, you know, from the 40s and the 30s, the 50s, where it was so common, but that a lot of younger Hollywood stars are smoking prominently, and they think that that might be an upswing in smoking, as if we didn't have enough headaches and problems. Go ahead, Mike. I didn't mean to interrupt. You were going to ask our good and great.
No, I got a question. Are those movies like modern day? Like you mentioned, hey, you
Yeah,
know,
they're not like I saw an incredible movie called Blue Moon, which Ethan Hawke should easily win the Best Actor award. It's the story
Yeah.
of Lorenz Hart, who wrote a ton of great songs with Richard Rodgers, but he was a neurotic, gay, very short Jewish guy. And eventually Rodgers got tired of the latenesses and all the alcoholic events. And he teamed up with Rodgers Hammerstein. And the first thing that came out was Oklahoma, you know, which just blew everybody away. But that was incredible. And in that, everybody smoked all the time. I mean, hey, I'm just old enough to remember when if you went to a movie theater, people smoked. As much as I love to go see bands and play in clubs, he came out smelling like an ashtray because everybody smoked everywhere. But no, they're saying that even in modern day, that younger actors and actresses are bringing back smoke, which is ridiculous. So I didn't mean to interrupt, Mike, but you were going to ask Jeff a question. Jeff, it's great to see you again, my buddy.
Jeff,
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm digging the background, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
we have a client that's in the wheel and tire business, so I guess I didn't change it.
good for you.
That's-
Yeah, right. Hey, as far as AI, it's gonna evolve and get better, or is it evolve and get bigger? In other words, they've got so much information and people doing bad prompts, people doing and complaining, and we had Russell Hill on here doing the stats of how much of the AI is bad
Incorrect.
information.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're just dead wrong. Like it's not even and then they try to kind of soften it up and everything.
But
So that's going on right now, and it's a content crisis as far as the future on people using AI in the big, large language models and yeah, and getting the information they need. In other words, tell me the most reputable car dealership in Hartford, Connecticut. And it can't kind of get confused. So do you
well, maybe
agree
it's
with
the
that?
word
Is
reputable is the
Well-
word that's not picking up.
yeah, it's good point.
I think it
But-
depends
but
on the AI
as-
model.
As you see it, as we go forward, it's gonna get smarter. But it's gonna get bigger. And with, garbage in, garbage out, do you see as more people who are uneducated as far as how to use it properly, that it's going to be, oh man, we can't rely on this. And it's only those few companies that have the kind of innovation to get people what they need or what they want.
Jeff's way 7 levels higher than me with that, but let me just throw an idea in here. I was on a show a while back, I think in this one, and I talked about that I think the beginning of the end of intellectual curiosity started with Cliff Notes. Was instead of saying, this is a great and classic book and I want to read it for the artistry of the writer, let me just get a basic idea of what the scheme and theme of the book was so I can get a passing grade. More and more and more, people look at a blurb and think they know what the hell they're talking about without checking to see, is it positive, is it negative, is it true? All history is slanted in the direction of the person who wrote the history. If they want to paint somebody as great, they paint him as great. If they want to paint him as a bum, they paint him as a bum. And if you don't double check everything and don't doubt everything and have a little bit of skepticism, I think anything can fool you. Go ahead, Jeff, I just wanted to think that.
Well, I try to, I think you're right on both counts, Mike, to answer the question, but I'm gonna get a little bit more succinct. A lot of people equate it to, if you wanted to ask if something was in a grocery store, okay? I want to bake a cake. And it says, okay, well, go get flour, go get this, this, this. Most people are content with doing that and taking whatever shit comes back as an answer. Okay? The smart companies are making, training their LLMs, their language models, to say, no, only tell me what's in my fridge. You know, tell me the ingredients I have there. And, you know, you got to kind of narrow it down to very specific things, because, you know, if you're going to just cast, you know, dust to the wind and be happy with whatever comes back, which is what most people are doing now. I mean, there's horrible stuff out there, terrible. I had to fire a hard thing, a longtime colleague, and was trying to make her a client, but she wanted me to work for free. And I said, I'm too busy to work for free. I want to help you. But long story short, we were building AIs to answer and make appointments for assisted living center. And I had great ones, models that I built. Well, we broke away from each other, and I just tested the client last week. Oh, it was appalling. Whatever she's using, it's horrible. And, you know, there's a lot of people that just think, and man, how much stuff have you seen on the Facebook posts and stuff now, right? Everybody's got, you know, answering bots for every business and stuff. I saw one the other day that was 4 months free. Now, how good is that going to be? You know, but there's idiots that are going to sign up for that. You know, and the thing they don't see is how much business are you deflecting, right? By people just going, what the hell? I'm calling the next tire store, right? Or something, you know, it's a bad experience. And, you know, everybody's in the game now, just like when, you know, internet came out, everybody wanted to sell domain names and stuff, right? And that was a whole business in itself. People bought up all the good domain names, you know, and got $10,000 for one. Then they thought, wow, this is a revolution, you know, and then the air came out of that bubble too, you know,
But I think it's back.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
back. And
People are selling domains again.
oh, but but the
the
prices
reason-
are silly.
Well, the reason it's back is because people are using AI to find out what are the keywords that they can buy a .com that guarantees them 1,000 searches or more a month. And they can latch on and make it a satellite to their main site. But they know that people are going to type it in, and the search engines go, yeah, they must be the authority on this keyword because they have the .com.
But
So,
And all they're doing
it's
is,
kind of back. Yeah, right.
But the thing that's
Which
funny,
one is it?
the thing that's funny about it is I've even had people come reach out to me because of the domains I own and say, you need to buy this. But the reality is a domain by itself doesn't mean anything. You actually have to market it. So the other thing that's funny, I had an experience with AI today. Someone called me that I know and they said, oh, I want to search for this. I said, well, did you try this model? Oh, no, my boss won't let me use that model because he doesn't agree with the politics of the guy who created it. I'm like,
Right.
really?
and then you get these other guys that are selling an AI app that has 15 other AI apps in it.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
is what they quote. Well, I kept getting bombarded by one on Facebook, and I said, all right, I'm going to go put this through because they're saying, you know, it's free to sign up.
Well, it only takes one, man.
Of course, their sign up page was broken.
Yeah.
But, you know, finally I got in and I say, okay, build this project for me. And here's all the parameters. And it's like I could have done that in Word, you know, because it gave me back like everything that I said, you know, in a Word doc. And I'm like, that's not AI.
Yeah.
with the microphone.
Well, you're dealing with something, and I'm including myself in this, that a huge amount of the population doesn't understand.
They don't.
And when you're trying to buy or use or take advantage of something you don't understand, it's difficult. Listen, forget about AI. I can remember when we dealt with the various websites, you know, whether it was ADP or rentals, how many glitches were built into the system? How much of it we were paying for twice? And again, unless you had a really smart tech person whose head was in the game, you didn't even know you were getting ripped off or robbed and not using your system to expect effectiveness. And again, for every Jeff, for every Mike, I don't really, I mean, I use AI because these folks, you help me, Jeff, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing with it. If somebody was trying to push me into a direction and I was naive enough to believe it, anything could happen. Jeff, we're aware of the pitfalls. What are you predicting for 2026? What do you see in life and business and anything you want?
Well, and to get back to Mike's question, bigger for sure, because there's no bar to entry. Anybody can do it,
Yeah.
If you spend $10 on a Facebook ad, you're probably going to get some leads, I am one that's totally against premiums. I think it's hard to convert people to pay after you give them something free, because they have no skin in the game. They don't really care. And I've even said, man, if you just charge them 99 cents a month for the first 3 months, you got a better chance of closing that guy for, $500 a month when that's over. But if he has nothing invested in it, they're not going to use it. They're not going to care that it doesn't work.
Back to the old, you get what you pay for, and if you're paying nothing, what could it be possibly worth? And if
Totally.
there's value in it, why would you want to give it away?
That's right. And that's the way I say, if and Mike and I have said this too, if you want the cheapest guy, to do call management and stuff too, I'm probably not your guy. I may be able to help you find somebody, and I'm happy to guide you, but just like you said, Larry, you get what you pay for at the end of the day. And, I'll see you in 6 months. So anyway, it's definitely going to get bigger. I don't think it by itself is going to get better, because it's up to the users, and these engines, just like Google, man, Google just wants all of the information. They're not going to vet it. And now they do, though, for a price, right? So they're going to have they got the monopoly, and which has been challenged and continually challenged, that nobody else can compete against them. And they've been able to fight that off to date. But, they just want the traffic. What's the goal? It's not to give you the best information. It's to get the most users, right?
And that's money.
That's right. And when you have, and it's the same thing on Facebook, people, you look at some people, they have, 500,000 followers on Facebook and stuff. What's the point? Because they want to monetize it. Now that part of it's smart. Okay. Regardless of how they got there, if you can get 500,000 people following you, you can make a coin.
Yep.
For, as an advertising channel.
But I saw Zuckerberg was saying, and I might be off on the exact amount, it was in the billions, that he figures is coming from scam ads. And he was talking about how trying to defend his reputation, or whatever was left of his reputation, but trying to reduce that down. But if you think about it, think about how conditioned we are to scams. I'm a prisoner, because I answer my phone all the time. It's my trademark. It gets me a ton of business. But man, do I hang up on people a lot, because I guess we're all conditioned now. When it takes 5 seconds for them to answer, or you hear the click and you hear noise in the background, I immediately hang up. I had the pleasure, Jeff. I went up and shot 25 videos, 2 hours. Mr. Larkin joined us later, but Gary came in with Riley Sorrell We did a really fun video that's all over LinkedIn and everything right now. But we were talking about warranties. And if you think about it, if I still own my dealership, when I tell dealers, I mean, you should have somebody dedicated to nothing but calling your customers, because if they're keeping their car for 12 years, even Hyundai doesn't have a 12-year warranty. But instead, because they're not being smart and it's not a covered field, you can't turn on the TV without seeing Ice-T or Danica Patrick or somebody trying to sell you a warranty.
Right.
And I don't think you're getting the value you would get at a dealership if it was packaged right and done with the disappearing, deductible. So it's just interesting. I guess anytime there's commerce, right? Anytime there's money, you're going to have as many crooks as you are going to have entrepreneurs, maybe more.
More,
They know there's money out.
more.
Well, just look at some of the statistics from Monday's show on recalls, where we learned from a bunch of recall experts around the amount of business not only they're missing on recalls, but the amount of opportunity when they come in for a free repair. What else could be done on that car? And they're not even calling the customer at all. They're not even aware of it. And it was just scary to look at those numbers. To your
Well,
point.
and that's another thing, Ian, that, and I've said this before on this show, I hate warranty work for dealers, and because my son hates it, and I know dealers hate it too, because they're not using it as a step up, as an entry point. Techs hate to do it because they're only going to get paid half the hours that it really takes.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel sorry for them when they get warranty work.
But it's an organizational problem because the advisors aren't taking the time to get the customer's rapport built and to have a chance for an upsell. It's Jeff. How many times have we discussed this? Jeff, for anybody that doesn't know, deals with a ton of tired people, and he's got me in with a ton of tired people. How pathetic is it? And I don't mean any disrespect to your clients, some you pulled me into, that the market is so strong for that because dealers are too dumb to get their people to make a mandatory service walk when they're showing the car and explain, by the way, if you do business here, not only will we commensurate in terms of price with small oil change tire, but you'll make sure your warranty is never violated because we use the factory stuff. I guess one thing that's not going to change in 2026 is the people that pay attention will continue, and the people that don't won't. Jeff, I put in my book, you read my book. If you want to get rich and stay rich, act like you're broke. If you want to go broke, act like you're rich. I dive after every lead anywhere. If I got a guy I think I can land or a guy I can sign up, I call him, I bug him. I try not to be annoying, but I make it very clear I want your business. But when we think of the dealer statements, it shows what you made, it shows what you spend, but it doesn't show the missed opportunities. It doesn't show the business you've lost. And I think any dealer consultant will tell them that's the biggest room for improvement, and that's the most egregious thing you can do is lose the business you have. Hey, I tell dealers, I'm less than headhunters, even though Rhonda wants me to get even more expensive, but it's still cheaper to keep the people you have.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Larry, I'm building 2 apps that we're going to start promoting before NADA. And one of them, I think, Larry, I shared with you. I don't know if you got a chance to log in, but essentially what it does, it does an assessment on all your phone calls, determines which ones were sales opportunities and whether they made an appointment or not. Okay. And it right at the top, it says, okay, in the last 30 days, you've left potentially this much money on the table, okay, by sales opportunities that came to your dealer, your store, and didn't make an appointment, or there wasn't a sale. And yeah, it's one thing to know that, but it's staggering when you put the numbers in. You can change. It's a pretty neat app, and I'll display it to you guys when it's ready. But you can put in your
Let me just make this very clear. Because I don't know a damn thing about AI, I'm going to perfect guy to review AI because I'm the ultimate consumer that wants it really simple. And, you know, I want everything to be a big, easy Staples button, or you hit the button on Amazon, the package savings. And I'm lucky that I know Jeff and I know Mike Lark. I'm tied in with Jeff and his partner, and I'm going to try to promote them. A, we're like family, and B, his stuff is great, but it's simplistic and it works. And Mike Larkin came up with this thing called Liam, and this damn thing calls me once a week, and it interviews me and asks me questions. And if I interrupt, which as you all know, I have a tendency to, it doesn't matter. It's like talking to a human being. So if
I interrupt it all the time.
yeah, people come at it for practical application, you can still make this thing make sense. Since Gary chimed in, and then let's jump to Abdul. Gary, what do you see for 2026? What's your crystal ball tell?
Well, from what we did yesterday in the communication, I mean, just the fear, the simple what your boy Rich turned around for us in one day in his studio was awesome. So and how clever are you? I mean, I just showed my daughter. She goes, "Dad, you had to talk about marijuana," and but it was funny because right before that conversation, Rich was telling us that beer sales are tanking because everybody's buying the THC infused substance. And we happen to be sitting on the biggest package store in like Connecticut. And, you know, we're filming upstairs. So, I mean, that one was a lot of fun. But crystal ball, we've been talking about this for a long time. And Russell Hill's not here tonight, but he talks about it. Frank Knox has been on. He talks about it. The dealer service drive is the new showroom. The websites need to be connected. And this is a perfect opportunity right now for me and Riley to shine, because we can come directly into the service drive and teach them very simple processes of how to appraise every vehicle that needs an RO. Repairs need to be safety inspection. And then if they want to keep the car, now you can have conversations. Do you want to trade up? Or do you want to purchase a service contract so you can have peace of mind for the next 3 to 5 years? So my crystal ball is the proving ground is going to be where a lot of faces are here, where they're showcasing online, being visible, capturing first-party leads themselves, and build it back themselves. There's gold in the CRM. It's time to clean up the CRM and start mining what's happening in their own stores. And it should be a very, very successful year for any of the dealers that step forward into that arena, as opposed to doing what they've been doing and getting what they've been getting. And so I see COVID's over. It's 5 years. Everybody needs to get back to accountability at every position, from the dealer principal down to the lot porter. They need to understand their roles, and they need to be trained on, and they need to be taught and educated. And collaboration and leadership is going to thrive in 2026.
Hey, listen, a couple things. Wendy was curious as to what you and Riley do. They help dealers with F&I products because Riley and Gary got along so good. She decided to come to Connecticut so they could work on some things together. Wendy, I was shooting the Larry calls. We knocked out 25 videos in 2 hours. And when Riley showed up with Gary, we were waiting for Lark. He was helping a buddy. I said, let's do a video. Wendy, you would have loved it. Riley said, what are we gonna talk about and what's the script? I says, we don't do scripts around here. I grabbed her, I put one arm around her, one hand around my buddy, Mr. Silman, put on my goofy looking Santa hat, Santa jacket, and we wound up with a great video. It was fun, but they're top-notch F&I people. Abdul, you usually like to wait in abeyance. Oh, and Mr. Hill showed up. Wendy, David, Russell, we're just looking into the crystal ball and seeing what we see for 2026. Why don't we let our good
Am I
friend
next?
wait?
Am I next, like I said?
Go next if you want, whatever you want.
Yeah, because I don't want to be stepchild and wait till the last moment and then you guys run out of time because it's a buddy system down here, which each one of you been together for a long, long time. I'm the newcomer.
Whoa. The only buddy system we have here is I'll be friendly with anybody that'll buy me a hamburger for $5.
There you go. There you go. So,
All right, I'll do it and then we'll jump the win.
After 27 years of doing my
As if I didn't have enough trouble being paid.
Where's the cat? Now he needs the cat.
Those prescription.
Yeah, after 27 years in car business myself, and we opened up IMA Global in 2017.
Now I'm being attacked by the cat.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful cat, you know. And I really we were doing a good job in digital marketing, and then 15 months ago, I got my son Ibrahim and I hit a lottery by Abe Nasser introducing us and getting us to use AI platforms for the automotive market. And we don't do apps, we create platforms. And our latest platform that is Larry and Rhonda and Gary has at their disposal was based on used cars, on age cars, to help dealerships sell their age units and for free of charge up front. And we get paid a flat fee of $300. And now Abe upgrades the platform practically every week. And so as of Monday, our cars, AIX.com, will not only have service drive, will have inspections, will have trade-ins, and most importantly, age units and new cars, because the new cars, they don't pay flooring for the first 90 days. And after that, then, you know, you got your heavy duty trucks and you got age units and all of that, 6 months age units that's loaded with a lot of bed liners and wheels and stuff like that. And our F&I stuff, alarm, gap, things like that that's loaded. And we can load all of that up and start selling them as of January 1st.
Let me sum it up. Abdul is predicting a very healthy 2026 for himself. And I will just comment before we get to Wendy and David Russell. They're keeping their cars 90 days. They got bigger problems than
yes. One last great news. As of right now, we have loaded up all the new car franchises into CarsAIX.com. So all the franchises are there, registered throughout the country. Every new car franchise that you can think of is there, and all they need to do is somebody ask them to load up their age units, new or used, and there we go.
Perfect. Wendy, would you like to go? And then my buddy David and then Russell. We're just putting on the looking into the crystal ball and figuring what's coming for 2026.
Wonderful. And I think we're probably all going to complement one another's ideas because they're all probably going to be centered around fixed stops. I'm sorry I missed the first 25 minutes, but you know, and everybody I'm talking to and the business that we're doing and the you know, like I'm with the now is non-negotiable, and we're working with a lot of marketing people in large groups and stuff like that. And everybody's focus is fixed stops. I mean, for some of us, it's been that way for a couple of years because we're looking at ways in which they can start to compile more data so that they can do more projections and they can basically create growth plans. But they're not doing it yet. Nobody's executing yet. So we're finding some really interesting things. And I don't know, Russell, if you had a chance to have that call we talked about, but the interesting thing to me is that even with the AI platforms, we're still not looking at the right KPIs for fixed. And we're still treating BDC as an unwanted stepchild. And maybe not even BDC, but somebody, even if it's your warranty person, who can take the heavy lifting of the engagement and the menial tasks off of the advisors so that they can upsell in the drive. So they're not giving it the right attention because they're not looking at the holes and what's falling through the cracks. Like Russell, to Russell's point, I guarantee you Russell's going to blow up in 2026 because we're in some POCs with him and his data is, I mean, his records are even better than they even know that it is lately. He captures absolutely everything, and it's going to be a gold mine for dealers because it's going to give them a basis through which they can record where they are right now, and they can establish growth plans and start to set KPIs on how does the decline repairs campaign work better than an inactive, or how can we be more, to Jeff's point, and I'm sure if he's not already in fixed with it, he's gonna be, knowing Jeff. But the same thing, we have to be looking at the right data and we have to be measuring the right things so we can create these growth plans. And then MK and Spark has a great new service CRM that we're just killing it with. It's a no-brainer, and it's got a lot of data compilation as well. So I think it's all going to be, what is David telling? Show me what I can
say
do.
share what you've done with
Okay.
the past week.
Well, probably that we're just doing backup for on Russell's product with one store. And I'm looking at
Wendy's referring to Sherman Dodge, not a person named Sherman.
Well, 50 appointments already, and they're just picking up what people are bouncing off with Russell's product. And then David started like sending the calls after hours our way, or if their department misses a call or their AI misses it after 6 rings, it comes to us. So 50 bonus appointments, figure out the average CPRO dollar. I just ran it for you, David. I'm going to send it to you. But anyway, with the right tools, coupled with the right minds that know what KPIs you should be looking at, because the people that are managing these departments don't yet, they're going to have extreme liftoff, and there's some really low-hanging fruit if they simply start returning the missed calls and stuff like that, because we've still got the churn on the websites. They're not digging the AI. That's what I see as a fixed op explosion with the right tools and the right people behind it, powering the engine and driving.
Well, what you missed early is I was saying, everybody had some great comments, but I said that when you read your statement at the end of the year, or you're following it every month, which you should be, it shows what you made and what you spent, but it doesn't show the missed opportunities. And the reason every dealer with a brain is fixated on fixed operations and used cars, it's because these are variables you can control. We've seen the factories do such strange things, so many things that pushed us to dangerous areas without any recourse. Hey, I'm not that old. I remember when if you had a franchise, you had protection out the wazoo. It's not the same thing anymore.
And can I make another? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not done?
No.
Oh, so
I'm never done. Wayne. Just jump in anytime. You know.
So the other thing I think that I realized, and actually April brought it to me because she called me last night because she was talking to one of her GMs that we've done BBC agent stuff for with the VinQ thing when we were reaching out to private parties. But now he's not even getting his guys to convert his inbound leads, like his AI generated leads for acquisition and stuff like that. And we're going to start doing that for them again. But my point is that I think they're barking up the wrong tree. I don't think acquisition should be something that's fielded by sales. I think that they need to incorporate like the service department, like get them in for a VMPI. I'm having this thought right now. Get them in for a free video MPI so you can evaluate the vehicle for them, and then they can get a better idea. You know, we don't care if you sell it to us or you sell it to someone else, but bring it on in, have a free VMPI done, and you know what? Then we got them there, and then we make the offer.
Well, there were some great numbers from Monday on the Recall show. If you haven't listened, we had a bunch of people on that show. Sorry for my voice. My voice is atrociously bad right now. But you should definitely listen to some metrics that were shared on dollars per hour increase, but not only that, on conversion to sales, but how to do it right from Recall Masters and others on the show. And if you are interested in mobile service, we're doing a show on Monday on that, which should be very interesting as well from strictly a data perspective. And they did have some thoughts on conversion there, so it's really interesting. Sorry.
Hey, why don't we hear from David or Russell? Get the crystal ball out. Can't think of two guys smarter than you. What do you see for? Looks like you're already on mic, Russ. What do you see for 2026, my friend, with the industry, with the world, with everything?
He's muted again.
Okay, well,
Everybody else together now to call him.
there we go. David, what do you think, my buddy?
I think that people are going to finally realize that all this AI hype is real to a point, and that there's a lot of falsities as well to it. And it really just comes down to inspecting what we expect. For me personally, I'm just blessed that I'm helping a lot of people. And, I don't go in situations with, am I going to make money? And do I have alligator arms on everything? People always throw money at me, but bottom line is I just like to help everybody. And if something happens out of it, then that's fine. I don't really do anything really for money. And I think that a lot of people are starting to see that with a lot of the AI vendors, with products that like Michael uses and other people and that he's developed, and a lot of my friends, we're able to scale and customize things so quickly and so rapidly, and people just can't do it. So I think we brought a whole new skill set. Everything like Wendy was talking about with SparkServe, with McKenna and other things that is out there right now. We're able to take a GPT, for example, and say, hey, how do we do equity mining? How do we talk to people in vehicle acquisition? How can we help with our game plan? There's so many things that we can do. I mean, the reason I was a little late for this call because I was helping somebody with their transition in a role. She went from being a marketing assistant to a BDC person, and she's never had any BDC training. It's a new owner this week. They just closed down my old group on Monday. They moved her to marketing to BDC, and she's got zero training. And I said, well, let's start from ground zero and start with your training. I said, just have a good concierge mindset. But the funny thing is, I'm like, I'm not a BDC person. I'm the worst person in training. But my AI can train you. And to me, I'm just like, well, Wendy can train you, but I can't. So I think that the AI hype is real. But at the same time, I think this year we're going to realize that it was always our human capital that we needed to rely on a little bit more. So hopefully that makes some sense of the way my mindset is thinking.
For anybody that doesn't know, the injury for the Green Bay Packers for Michael Parsons, that was because David Rosick tricked him on the sidelines.
That was great. I'm so happy.
You got all Bears all the time. Not only does David love him, but he also had an interaction with them when he coached Pee Wee or high school football. I wasn't sure whether it was high school or Pee Wee, but he's tied in with all those guys. Russell, are you on mic? Can you
Russell, come in.
Larry, just a side note, David shared with me it was a blow-dart. Just saying.
No, that's what happened to the whole Eagles. Don't remind me, please.
Yeah, really.
The funny thing is, I like Mike Parsons a lot. He's one of my favorite players. So I would never wish him any bad ill, but I was just like, oh yeah, this is great. But at the same time, I'm like,
As my grandfather used to say, with people didn't like, he should live, but not make it happen. We get it.
yeah, I mean, in fantasy football, it's a mixture of players. So I have players from the Eagles, from the Packers, from everywhere. So, but just growing up in Chicago, the Bears are obviously my team. My secondary team, it's only because my daughter is an Eagles fan that I became an Eagles fan. But one of my all-time favorite players is still Johnny Unitas. So I mean, you know, there's some great mentors and people that I love. Eventually, Russell's going to get on this damn call.
Hey, David, the greatness of Johnny Unitas, if you're younger than the people on this call, you don't know it, but I'll never forget the quote from Joe Namath. Predicted the Jets would beat the Colts, and he said, the only time I was nervous is when Earl Morrall sat down and Johnny Unitas, who was injured, came into the game. The guy was amazing. But it's a good example of A, how in life you got to keep punching, and B, how bad the NFL is at judging talent, because he would play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They decided he wasn't good enough. How could you be better than Johnny Unitas? Even Vince Lombardi said they're an average team, but with him they're a great team. Russell, we're running out of talk about old football players. I'm going to start reminiscing about Walter Payton and my crush on him and Jerry West, my only two non-Philadelphia guys I love.
He talked to me 2 minutes ago.
Listen,
What did he say 10 minutes ago? When it jumped off my screen.
he can only listen. He's
No problem.
listening.
No problem. So, Ron,
Whoa. Russell, I'm going to be out of town for a week or two here and there. I'm doing a lot of training. Would you like to come over to my house and meet my wife? Because I do a lot of listening when she's talking too. It's perfectly suited for that role.
You've got a great pair of glasses and a cat.
It's a home for mentally unstable people. Well, what normal person would hang around with me? All right, listen. Rhonda and I just drove 3.5 hours up with Harry.
You've got a Peyton jersey.
Man, I was in Chicago about a month after he died, and we went to the coach's restaurant, and there was a big picture of him draped in black. Again, if you're a kid and you don't understand that the guy wasn't, I don't think he was any bigger than 5'9" or 5'10". He never ran out of bounds. He would take linemen and put them on the race. And everybody in the league knew they were going to run the ball because they had no passes till they got Jim McMahon. The guy was incredible. Missed one game. And the crazy thing is, with his attitude, the reason he missed the game the first year, he was benched because they didn't like his attitude. Look that one up. It's true.
I had an apartment right behind the hill where he used
to run up and down.
run,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
which now is part of a golf course, but, and I used to go to when I was young, worked out and played basketball with him, and my claim to fame, he lifted me up so I could dunk.
He was strong as hell. He was strong as hell.
so
All right.
I did like that.
We're big on animals in the show. Ron,
Say hi, Tuck.
Oh, hi, Chuck. He's cute.
He's a good boy.
What would you like for this coming year, doggy?
He has everything he's wished for.
Yeah, I bet.
And then
I just saw that kiss. I just saw that.
Rhonda, what do you see for 2026?
Okay, well, you know me, I'm not gonna talk about cars. I think that, business in the macro sense is gonna be tough for about 2 or 3 months. It might lighten up in the spring. It's not gonna look pretty for a while, and you'll hear a lot of grumbling. I think what's even more important is that 31/Atlas is coming. And if you don't know what that is, neither does anybody else. Half the people think it's a comet, and the other half of the people think it's an alien spaceship. It's headed for Earth, I think Friday this week.
Wow.
And yeah, well, it depends on who you are. But all of a sudden, NASA and all the other space agencies in the world are doing exercises to in case we get a quote unquote comet coming close to Earth, what are we going to do about it? That's supposed to make us feel like we're secure in what's going to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen. I personally think it's an alien spaceship. I also think that I'm going to be one of the people that gets taken away, and I also don't want you to worry because it's not an abduction; it's a freaking rescue.
Love
That's
David,
what I
in case
think.
you're not aware.
Speak
this
in my
is the
language,
woman-
lady.
I'll
this is the
definitely
woman that
file
helps keeps me on the path of mental stability. And convinced and relieved that the aliens.
So is that happening in LA or is that happening in Philadelphia?
It's gonna happen. Trust me. Listen, there's two schools of thought, and one guy at MIT, who my daughter happens to know, she said, "Oh yeah, we had dinner with them in his house." He's like been for months now. There's articles. His name's Avi somebody. For months now, he's been saying this is whatever this is doing is not comet behavior. You know, there's too much going on that it's doing that doesn't make sense in terms of what we know from natural occurrences. So, you know, there's the Avi school, and then there's the NASA, don't worry, nothing's happening here. Pay no attention to the alien. behind
Nothing
the
to
curtain.
see here. This isn't the asteroid you're looking for.
Exactly. So we shall see.
Rhonda, what's the ETA?
I thought they said Friday it's coming closest to Earth, but that doesn't mean it's gonna stop on the trajectory
Wait,
they've
wait a
been.
minute, Rhonda, do we have a time on Friday? Because I still have some money left on my Five Guys gift card. I'm gonna go to my eternal rest. I'm Jewish.
I will take that
Or-
into consideration. I don't know.
Or let's call, or smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, right.
Perfect.
So it's 31/Atlas, pay attention,
30/Atlas?
31/, Atlas. That's what they're calling it. Atlas,
Wow.
ATLAS. So we'll see what happens there. But that's, whenever I think that, oh man, things are really crappy and things are doing, this could be it. This could
Wait
be
a minute.
bigger than
Rhonda,
everything else.
how cool would it be for 2 years you've charted Where's Larry? This will be the ultimate Where's Rhonda, right? It's orbiting another galaxy.
Right.
Ian, I know your throat's not the best tonight, but could you succinctly tell us what you see in the crystal ball? One thing, I gotta jump in on Rhonda. Rhonda, because you're the best press marketer of all time, but you're not a car person. One of the nice things about what Trump did with the big beautiful bill is some people are gonna get a bigger tax return. And so you understand all car people salivate when those tax returns come in.
Yeah.
Because you get a huge influx of traffic for people that all of a sudden have down payment and more. Go ahead, Ian.
I think this thing is a spaceship. I agree. That's
You
what I
do?
think. Yeah, I think it's a spaceship.
I'm telling you, it's a 50-50 thing. There's some people who say, nah, just.
David, wait a minute.
And then there's
David,
our
very
smart people who
logical.
say,
Oh, when the government tells you it's one thing, they're probably lying to you.
right, exactly.
Do me a favor, David, mark down the date and time. It's the first time I haven't been the most mentally unstable person on the show. I got Ian and Rhonda trading off Martian inhabitation. All right, other than the spaceship abducting us, Ian, what do you see for 2026?
I think you're going to see a major shift in EV decimation. I think you're going to see the Who Killed the Electric Car revenge coming back to wipe it out completely. If you look at what's going on with Ford Motor Company and other companies, but I also think you're going to see a change in car ownership. I have an interview that's probably going to go up next week from a gentleman who started out in leasing with his dad and sold the company in 2023. So he's been in leasing a long time. So I'm looking forward to sharing that. But I do think you're going to see a change in, the EV marketplace, which basically means a decimation of that market, at least in the foreseeable future. I don't think that's coming back anytime soon. I think those cars are going to be very, very cheap, but I also think used ones are going to be a value. That's what I think.
Used cars are going to be what?
Used electric cars are going to be a solid buy because they're going to be very, very cheap. So if you're in the subprime or you're looking for a cheap car, electric cars are going to be huge. I also think that the OEMs, you're going to see more mergers. So Honda is going to buy Nissan, but you're going to see other mergers happen because they got to prepare for BYD. And BYD is coming. It's just a question of when.
I think the lease market's going to dramatically change though this year with leases, especially with some of the batteries that are coming out. Because I think what we're going to see is for the first time, we're going to see cars that on average will get 500 miles, 600 miles. versus 200 to 300. So I think that by doubling the distance and quickening the charging time, because right now the charging time is so long, and if it takes an hour to charge, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars of your day and your time, and then it costs you just as much to charge as almost gas right now. So I think there's going to be a resurgence on leasing, but I think it's even going to get even stronger again on electric cars this year. So there will be some survival right there, but we know that hybrids are coming back in a big way. But I still don't, there is some alternate fuels out there that I think BMW had been working on in Porsche for a long time. And it just never caught on in the United States. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see another run at that, those alternate fuels again. But I really think that we'll see leasing come back on the electric cars. It'll just take.
It has to come back on everything. Because the only way to get rid of some of these people that are buried alive, because you can cap so much over MSRP.
Yeah.
If a guy's going to choke on a high payment, he'd rather choke on it for 2.5 years, that's a 3-year lease, than on the next 5 or 6 years. We killed our own market,
Yeah. And I'm more afraid that the fact that the rental cars again, companies, they dumped a lot of the rental car companies dumped a lot of the electric cars, but they're throwing them all into the used car market. So we'll see how that phases out. But what I'm noticing is you're getting banks and lenders that are coming back into used car leasing. And that hasn't happened in a long time. We haven't, we went to having a bunch of used car leasing companies 15 years ago, 20 years ago, to only having a handful. And now we have a bunch of new used car leasing companies coming out.
But David, the reason that they dropped out is they got crippled.
Right. The residuals sucked. And just right now, I mean, our loss ratios and repos are high right now, and people are behind in payments. So I think you're right. BYD is going to have to come. There's going to be other people coming into our markets. But I think some of these car companies already have agreements with companies like BYD and other companies to bring cheaper models in the market. I mean, when you really look at a Trax and a Trailblazer, those are not American-made GM cars. Those vehicles are made overseas. So I mean and those cars are priced at the right price point. When you're talking about Kia under $30,000 on a lot of their new cars, and Hyundai, GM is going to have to adapt, and so is Ford. They're going to have to price out more new cars in those small SUVs and bring some other models this year. We're going to have to see those come out, and they're going to have to look to a company like BYD who has a lower cost, level to bring them in. Tariffs is affecting things, but Trump gets enough payoff or whoever, and all of a sudden shit magically flows. All of a sudden things that we never let in before, and we did all these tariffs and moves in negotiation, it'll all come back down to money. And they'll realize we need to bring in these other car lines into the United States just so that people have basic transportation. Because we can't afford, $1,500 a month car payments. And, our income is just not going up yet. So something has to break. Either the cost of electric has to drop to charge these cars, gas has to come down. Something has to change in our economy because there's too much meat. And I think, fields like the medical industry, we've seen them jumping up insurance rates coming this year. We're seeing a lot of things like insulin that I experienced going up $1,300 a month for insulin. But I think that people like states like California have said, hey, we're going to make our own. And we're going to figure out how to make this cheap again. Companies like Walmart have said, you know what? We'll sell you insulin for $30. So I mean, other companies are being resilient. The scariest thing that I see this coming year though is Amazon jumping into the used car market with the CPOs with Ford. And I think that's gonna go further than Ford. I think other car lines are already going, hey, we're ready to do that too. So we're gonna see more compression margin on the dealerships. And are we just gonna be a courtesy delivery agent for cars? So, but I would hope that NADA and other people would actually step up and we would have some laws go into place to prohibit used cars from being sold on Amazon.
But it's tough to do that with the franchise laws not being inviolate like they were. But I hate to correct you with your prediction, but if there is an alien spaceship that land, they're not going after you, Mike Malone. They're going after Keith Richards because he's going to be 82 tomorrow, and they're going to want to study as the only life form more vulnerable than a cockroach still evolved.
That's funny.
That's absolutely true. And you know what? They shouldn't do that. We need to figure it out here.
Well, as I look into my crystal ball, at least one thing came out of this show. You've got a backup singer in Ian if his voice stays like this.
Only if I'm doing a joke. Hey, listen,
Oh.
we're right at the 8 o'clock hour. As usual, we appreciate you. We love you. We're gonna go on a hiatus, I believe, for the next 2 weeks, so we can let everybody enjoy their holidays. We wish you the merriest Christmas, the healthiest Hanukkah. And just enjoy yourself, enjoy your families, and we certainly appreciate you all. It's so good to see you all. We appreciate you.
How about the some holiday, Larry?
What would that be, my friend?
Oh, that's coming in February, Ramadan.
Well, I think what we'll do in February is have the NAD Ramadan show.
There you go. Thank you.
We'll try to be very efficient here.
Appreciate it.
David, it's the game of the year, man. We gotta squish the cheese.
Hey, by that time, my Patriots will win their 7th Super Bowl.
Yeah, dream on,
Hey,
my
you know,
boy, dream on. Dream
My
on.
wife's from New England, and my wife's from New England. And of course, I'm in Denver, who's going to be in the mix
It's
too.
gonna
But
be the Rams. You guys
If it-
forget about
if it was the
Razor game.
Patriots and Bears, that would be cool.
it.
No,
Patriots-
the revenge,
Patriots
the
and Rams.
revenge game for Super Bowl, the fridge. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Four
The Bledsoe
touchdowns.
game?
I didn't.
No.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know, you guys, there's still nothing like the Super Bowl hustle.
That's it.
go, it's shuffle, get right there.
Shuffle, shuffle. What did I
All
say?
right.
She's a Packer fan, man.
You said
Well,
about
yeah, you talked about squashing the cheese. You started it, dude.
I did.
Squishing my cheese.
it's like the old story. It's like the old story in New York where the father and the mother were fighting over the child. It was a messy divorce, and he said, "Would you like to live with your father?" And he says, "Judge, I don't want to live with my father. He beats me. What a tragedy. Would you like to live with your mother?" He says, "My mother drinks and she beats me." He says, "I'd like to live with the Giants. They don't beat anybody." Eagles fans like that joke.
Eagles fans do like that joke.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, healthy holidays, in advance, happy Ramadan.
God
Stay
bless.
healthy, and I look forward to talking to you all between
God bless.
now and the end
See
of the
you.
year. Thank you so much.
And happy New Year. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Here, guys.
Happy New Year, happy healthy.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Recording